Um, Yay, welcome to the 5th episode, making the series official now. Congratulations. And I hope this episode does not, mess up, because last time it did. But anyways, besides that, welcome to another episode of the discussion series, or discussion. Honestly, I think saying the discussion series to me honestly sounds disgusting. Don't judge me. But really, in this episode, we're going to be going over 5 basic tips for beginning or sort of not professional artists. So really, this doesn't really apply to everybody, and I know this should consider as a tutorial, but you know what? Meh. So let's just get straight into it. One thing to note before this video starts is that I got a new phone, which is what I'm using to record this. Because my other phone is dead because it kind of got shattered, but it still worked. Like, I shattered it in February, but it worked, but on yesterday it stopped working, so I couldn't use it. But this phone is really good, and got a lot more storage. But besides that, let's actually get into it. So, number 1. So the tip for art is really basically, don't be discouraged and to take criticism. When there's a difference between criticism and actual, insult, actual insults don't really specify or give you anything that's advice or helpful or something that lets you improve. Basically, something saying, oh, your art sucks or oh, your art is bad isn't even a critique. Saying something like, oh, it's good, like fix the lines or make the anatomy a little better or practice using bases and then work from there. Like, kind of that. Like, for artists, though, some of us can't take criticism, but the rest of us can't. For me, obviously, I can take criticism, but no matter how many times I try to draw without, basic circle, but I mean, hey, styles change eventually, but I don't think my style is going to change for a little while, but meh. So really don't get discouraged about if people tell you whether or not your art is bad, because really, that's their opinion. And even then, it doesn't really take a brain to even draw art, let alone ones that take effort and time. Second thing, there are art blocks. Basically, an art block is when somebody doesn't have any idea or a little bit of a concept to draw. Like, they want to draw, but they don't know what. Like, they're out of ideas. But most people think an art block is the motivation that is lost to draw it, but really that's not exactly it. So really, to deal with an art block is to think or look of cartoons or video games or another person's art and then basically try to redraw it in that style. Kind of why your character hear things, kind of like those, but except it's in your style, but you're not actually copying the thing, so, because, that's technically stealing art. But really, it's kind of dependent on whether or not you actually drew it already, because there's always stuff to draw, but basically a bowl of fruit isn't exactly, something to be worth drawing. But if that actually helps you with your art block, then go ahead. Third tip. This one is actually pretty not really the one that every artist knows about, but it doesn't matter if you draw on a tablet, a phone, traditionally, digitally, or on a laptop. What I mean by this is that a lot of artists like to see popular animators or speed painters draw on things like tablets connected to laptops or laptops, but would they have mouse pads with them. For me, I just use a regular old iPad. Yeah, I'm not professional. I'm really not. I don't like to come off as professional. So even then, yeah, I don't care if my things are crappy. But really, quality is not the best thing, but it's pretty good, because quality overrides quantity. But almost a few YouTubers I know barely understand that concept. But really, getting back to the actual focus is that if you draw traditionally, that's fine. If you draw digitally or on a phone, that's cool, because most people draw on Flip a Clip for animations and art. But really, it depends on how good are you at using it. Like, you'll eventually get used to it, but at least get better at it. but really trying new techniques is also still there. Second to last tip. This one is color scheme. Basically, when you make an OC or an own character for some non-artist, this is something that comes into play. You have to make sure your OC stands out. What I mean by this is that you have to make your OC kind of distinguishable, something that can, be recognizable. Like how my characters stand out from each other, how they're almost the different colors and really, different. What I mean by this is that you have to try to be creative, and you have to at least try to think of new ways to color your thing. Really trying with different colors and experimenting or making light or darker colors actually kind of helps, and it looks better in the long run, especially when shading, because it looks pretty cooler. Last tip. This one is pretty much an obvious mandatory tip because this is for basic artists, and this tip is basically to try and not to, what's the word I'm looking for? Let's see. Don't, think that your art is better or worse. And really, art in general, what I have to say about this tip is art has actually to be taken time. What I mean by this is that art, you can't just scribble and call that art. A lot of people do, but for me, I don't consider that art. You have to take time and effort. No matter how much bad it is, I always put quality over quantity. Because honestly, a lot of things that are more than the actual quality are worse. And really, effort and, actually putting motivation and putting your work into this stuff is pretty good. But even then, for artists, especially on places like Twitter or DeviantArt, good pieces somehow get less attention, but pieces that you didn't put enough time into basically get more attention. It doesn't really make sense to artists, so pretty much it puts you in the sort of starving artist, process. But really, in general, it's, you have to try your best, and hopefully people can like your art. But that is 5 tips for artists. Really, I hope this helped. If it didn't, then I failed my job. But, it's not like it's a job anyway, but really. If you have a topic for me to talk about, or at least 5 things to talk about in a video, let me know in the comment section below. Sorry for no animations so far because I'm working on one, and believe me when I say that, it's painful. Painful to do this one that I'm working on, but it should come out hopefully in the week or tomorrow, but really. Anyways, subscribe, and I will see y'all later. Bye.